I had been in a secret relationship with my brother's best friend for 5 years, planning to make it public on New Year's Eve, at the banquet. However, he didn't say a word about us. Instead, he leaned close to my ear and half-jokingly said, "I'm tired of sleeping with you. Why don't you find someone else to marry, okay?" I nodded calmly and replied, "Okay," because in my past life, I had cried and begged him, insisting that I would marry no one but him. I got my wish, but after we married, he remained cold and indifferent, even keeping his eyes shut the entire time during intimacy. When I was in labor, suffering from a massive hemorrhage, he abandoned me without hesitation to celebrate his true love's birthday at Disneyland. At that moment, I finally understood love that is begged for is destined to disappear, reborn in this life. I smiled and agreed. "I'm tired of you too. Let's break up." Chapter 1. When I uttered those words, Ryan was momentarily stunned, as if he had misheard me. He had always known me to explode at the slightest provocation. Why was I suddenly acting so obedient? The teasing glint in his eyes faded slightly as he studied me seriously. "Lily, do you know what I just said?" I maintained my carefree smile. "Of course. Didn't you just tell me to find someone else?" In my past life, if he had said anything remotely upsetting, I would have lashed out like an enraged cat, clawing at him until he admitted he was wrong. But this time, I chose to let him go, and in doing so, I freed myself too. Ryan frowned. "Lily, what's wrong with you today?" Before he could finish his sentence, the sound of glass shattering rang out from the next table. A moment later, a slender figure in white fled from the room, sobbing. Heads turned in curiosity at the commotion. My brother, Eric, nudged Ryan with his elbow. "Wasn't that your ex just now? Did you invite her here today? It's the new year, smashing things like that. Could it be because of you?" Ryan's brows furrowed even deeper. Without another word, he stood up and strode toward the door. Not long after, the sobs outside softened, turning into murmured whispers, the kind exchanged between lovers. Meanwhile, the dishes continued to arrive at our table, but I remained indifferent, quietly eating the food in my bowl. I used to serve Ryan a little of each dish, placing it in his small bowl. It had become a habit ever since I met him. He was always interrupted by work calls, often leaving his meals unfinished. My brother, seeing how attentive I was to Ryan, used to get jealous. "Damn, you're serving Ryan food again? You don't even treat me this well. I've noticed for a long time you don't secretly have a crush on him. Do you?" There were countless times I almost blurted out the truth, but Ryan would always distance himself immediately, ruffling my hair like I was a little sister and laughing as he called me his sworn sister. That was all the answer I needed. He never intended to make our relationship public. Chapter 2. For 5 whole years, he never posted anything about me on his social media, not even a private post visible only to me. It was as if he didn't want to leave a single trace of the love we once shared. Yet, because I loved him so desperately, I was willing to stay hidden in the shadows. Time and time again, as I quietly ate my food, my brother teased me. "Aren't you going to check on your dear Ryan? Be careful, or he might just run off with another girl." My hand holding the chopsticks paused slightly. "If he runs off with another girl, what does that have to do with me? As his so-called sworn sister, I have no reason to interfere, do I?" My brother studied me carefully, as if trying to read something from my face. Today was Ryan's birthday. We had agreed that today would be the day we finally made our relationship public. But I never expected him to invite his unattainable love, Victoria. At that moment, Ryan and Victoria returned. Victoria's eyes were red, as if she had just been crying. Ryan held her hand, occasionally comforting her. Seeing this, my brother let out a whistle. "Ryan, Victoria, are you two getting back together?" The moment those words fell, Ryan's head snapped up, his eyes flashing with panic. "What nonsense are you spouting? She's just an old classmate. I was just checking up on her. What's wrong with that?" But my brother shamelessly leaned in closer. "I'm an old classmate too. Why don't you check up on me?" Ryan laughed and shoved him away. "Get lost." Seeing Victoria nestled against him so delicately, I pulled my brother back. "Big brother, Don't disturb them. Let Ryan and Victoria enjoy their little world together. Just sit down and eat. Then, I turned to Ryan with a bright smile. Isn't that right, little brother? Ryan froze at my words. He looked at me with an unreadable expression but said nothing in the end, only escorting Victoria out. As soon as they left, the whispers around the table began. I told you. The unattainable love always wins. Look at how they were tonight. Seems like they're definitely getting back together. Of course, back then, Victoria had kidney failure and desperately needed a transplant. Ryan didn't hesitate for a second before donating his own kidney. Even before he had recovered, he was running to her hospital room to take care of her. He gave her half his life. Now that Victoria is back, they'll never be apart again. Listening to these words, my heart ached so much I could barely breathe. So their fates had long been intertwined, and I was just a fool, holding on to a love that was never meant to see the light. Chapter 3. In my past life. After Ryan and I got married, everything changed. He never touched me again. We slept in separate rooms. Even our chopsticks had to be kept separate at meals. It wasn't until his parents pressured him for a grandchild that he reluctantly held me just to complete the task. That night, he demanded the lights be turned off and kept his eyes shut the entire time, as if enduring the greatest humiliation. The next morning, he spent the night at Victoria's place and never came home. One winter, I caught the flu. My body was weak, and I could barely move. I begged him to take me to the hospital, but he impatiently refused, saying he was busy with overtime. But instead, he was at a nail salon with Victoria, watching her get a manicure. The staff even complimented them as a loving couple. When I went into labor, I bled heavily at home and called him in tears. At last, he snapped. It's just giving birth. Not like you're dying. What the hell are you crying for? Call a cab and go to the hospital yourself. I'm busy. If there's nothing else. I'm hanging up. Before I could say another word, he ended the call. When I called again, his phone was already turned off. Yet, on Victoria's social media, she had just posted 8 photos in a row, celebrating her birthday at Disneyland with Ryan. In every single 9-photo collage, the center image was always the same: Ryan and Victoria, locked in a deep kiss. At that moment, I lost all will to live. Ryan, if you never loved me, then what was the point of keeping this child? I cut off all ways of survival, tossed my phone out the window, and watched the blood spread across the floor. I died from excessive blood loss. And even then, Ryan thought I was just putting on an act. At the birthday banquet, without Ryan, everyone quickly went back to their own fun. I had no interest in staying. After dinner, I left. Ryan, who used to text me every 3 minutes, was eerily silent tonight. Outside, the sound of firecrackers celebrating the new year echoed through the city. Yet I felt no festive joy. At midnight, a firework lit up my window. Ryan, who rarely posted on social media, suddenly updated his feed. In the photo, Victoria was asleep on his shoulder, looking peaceful and gentle. The caption was just one word: her. Within a minute, the comments exploded. Wishing you two a lifetime of happiness. Congratulations on your wedding. May you be together forever. I liked the post out of habit, but when I refreshed the page, it was gone. A second later, Victoria sent me a message. Ryan took me home, and I accidentally fell asleep on his shoulder. It was too late, and I didn't feel comfortable letting him leave, so I let him stay over at my place for the night. You don't mind, do you? I responded indifferently with a simple, From now on, whatever Ryan did and whoever he was with had nothing to do with me. Just as I was about to sleep, a message from Ryan popped up. What now? Had they already reached the point where their thoughts were synchronized? Victoria just got back to the country and didn't have time to buy new clothes for the new year. Don't you have a few new outfits? Lend her one for tomorrow. The malls are closed, and we might not have time to buy anything. Reading his message, my already gloomy mood sank to rock bottom. The clothes I had bought for myself, clothes I hadn't even worn yet, and he wanted me to give them to the woman he cherished most? Who did he think he was to me? Out of spite, I didn't reply. I turned off my phone and went to sleep. Chapter 4. I never expected that early the next morning, Ryan would show up at my house with Victoria. At exactly 10 o'clock, the doorbell rang. My brother went to open the door, only to find Ryan and Victoria standing outside, carrying an armful of gifts. Everyone in the family, except me, welcomed them warmly. Ryan had lost his parents at a young age and was raised by his grandmother. Since we were neighbors, my parents had long treated him like a son. As he entered, Ryan shot me a deep glance. My mother smiled at Victoria and said, "You must be Ryan's girlfriend. It's been years since we last saw you. You've gotten even prettier." "Thank you, Auntie. It's been a few years, but you're just as youthful as ever." Victoria was a natural at flattery. In just a few words, she had my parents beaming with joy. "Lily, why are you still dawdling in your room? Come and greet our guests." I obediently poured tea for Ryan and Victoria, then respectfully said, "Happy New Year, brother." "Happy New Year, Victoria." Ryan's expression grew even more unreadable. While I was in the restroom, he suddenly sent me a message. "What are you mad about?" I read it and left him on scene. During lunch, there was a minor seating mishap. I sat in my usual spot, but without a word, Ryan sat down right next to me. That was my brother's seat. My brother looked at Ryan, then at the empty seat next to Victoria, his eyes widening in disbelief. "Damn, what are you doing taking my seat? Sit next to your girlfriend." Saying that, he yanked Ryan up. After some minor fuss, Ryan ended up sitting across from me instead. But the moment he settled in, I felt like I was sitting on pins and needles. His gaze was deep and unwavering. I looked away and quietly focused on eating. Halfway through the meal, he got up to take a call. I glanced at his empty bowl and swallowed my food, choosing to ignore it. When he returned, he specifically glanced at his bowl, then at me. Noticing this, my brother quickly stepped in to explain, "We're all family here. No one's going to steal your food, so don't make things hard for Lily." Just then, my mother looked at Ryan, then at me, a knowing expression in her eyes. She suddenly spoke up at the dinner table. "Lily, look. Ryan even brought his girlfriend home this year. When are you planning to bring a boyfriend home for us to meet?" Ryan parted his lips slightly, as if he wanted to say something. I cut him off before he could. "If Mom, Dad, or my brothers have someone to introduce, I'd be happy to meet them." Chapter 5. In the past, whenever my family brought up this topic, I would shut it down immediately. But this time, I gave a different answer. My brother was so moved that he nearly burst into tears. He clapped me hard on the shoulder. "Sis, you've finally come to your senses. If you're serious about finding someone, I'll set you up with a handsome guy right after this meal." I laughed along, but my eyes unconsciously drifted toward Ryan. His lips were pressed tightly together, his expression dark and unreadable. As the laughter continued around us, he suddenly interrupted. "Auntie, don't joke about it. Victoria is just an old classmate." My mom froze in surprise, and Victoria's bright smile stiffened. And then, as if to stir the pot even more, my brother chimed in with a smirk. "So you're still single? How about we set you up with Lily then?" At that moment, my already uneasy heart clenched painfully. Ryan immediately shoved my brother lightly. "Quit messing around. Lily is my sister." And just like that, whatever lingering hope I had died completely. I took a deep breath and forced the most natural smile I could muster. "Exactly. Bro, stop talking nonsense. Ryan is my little brother." After lunch, Ryan left with Victoria, and we didn't contact each other in the following days. I carried on as usual, eating well, drinking well, attending class reunions with enthusiasm. On the 5th day of the new year, my brother had a gathering with his old classmates. Seeing that I had no plans, he insisted on dragging me along. I climbed into bed early and refused to go no matter what. But then he said, "Tonight is the most crucial moment in your little brother's life. As his sister, you have to be there to witness it." It wasn't until we arrived at the venue that I realized Victoria planned to use this gathering to confess to Ryan and ask him to take her back. According to the rumors, their relationship had visibly rekindled ever since Victoria returned. Many believed a reunion was inevitable, One of the classmates who worked at a jewelry store even mentioned that Ryan had visited their store 2 days ago to pick out a ring, and there was a 90% chance it was for Victoria. I knew most of my brother's classmates. As soon as I entered, many of them greeted me warmly. They complimented how much I'd changed and jokingly told me to choose a single guy from the group. I laughed and bantered with them like nothing was wrong. From a short distance away, Ryan watched in silence, saying nothing. Before dinner started, Victoria pulled me aside. "Lily, I know Ryan treats you well. He listens to everything you say. So later, when I confess to him, could you say something nice about me? That way, we'll have a better chance of getting back together." She looked soft and gentle on the outside, but inside, she was nothing but calculating. She knew I liked Ryan. She also knew that because he refused to make our relationship public, I had no choice but to stay silent. And now, she wanted to use my love for Ryan to crush me even further. But what she didn't know was that after my past life, I was completely done with him. So I flashed an even brighter smile than hers. "Of course! Don't worry, I'll do my best to help you too." Victoria pursed her lips slightly before turning back into the room. Chapter 6. At the dinner table, Ryan suddenly started acting strange, piling food into my bowl like crazy. It was just like how I used to serve him food in the past. When the waiter brought out a fresh clay pot chicken, Ryan picked up a piece and placed it into my bowl. I blocked my bowl with my hand and smiled. "Little brother, I've grown up. I can serve myself. You should give it to Victoria instead." The piece of chicken hung awkwardly in the air for a moment. Victoria, noticing the situation, quickly lifted her bowl and took it. "Ryan, there might be someone here that Lily likes. You don't need to fuss over her." As she spoke, the classmates around us stood up one by one, raising their glasses to Victoria in a toast to welcome her back. Just as Victoria lifted her glass, Ryan snatched it away. "Victoria gets drunk too easily. I'll drink this for her." Without hesitation, he downed the glass in one go. Applause erupted from the crowd. One drink turned into 2, then 3. His face grew noticeably flushed. Victoria reached out to stop him, her voice dripping with sweetness. "Ryan, you don't have to drink so much for me." Whether he was actually drunk or not, I couldn't tell. He looked at Victoria, eyes filled with warmth. "It's fine. You can't handle alcohol, and they're obviously taking advantage of you." A murmur of excitement rippled through the room. I knew it. Ryan's defining moment was finally here. Victoria's face was tinged with a beautiful blush. She parted her lips slightly and said, "Ryan, after all these years, I still can't forget you. Let's get back together, okay? Say yes! Say yes!" The crowd began to chant. Ryan froze, as if he hadn't expected things to escalate this way. The atmosphere was perfect, the heroine bravely confessing her love, just waiting for the hero to nod in agreement. A love story that everyone envied. A couple destined to be together. Watching them stand under the spotlight, I clapped along with the crowd and cheered. A devoted and beautiful girl like Victoria is a rare find. "Little brother, why haven't you nodded yet?" Ryan turned to look at me, completely shocked. "Lily, what the hell is wrong with you? Aren't you my girlfriend? Why are you pushing me into this?" The moment Ryan spoke, the entire room fell silent. My brother was the first to react. His face filled with shock as he looked between Ryan and me. "Sis, what did he just call you? Girlfriend?" I smiled calmly. "Bro, don't you see? My little brother is drunk. He's just joking." Ryan didn't seem pleased with my response. Pushing Victoria aside, he strode toward me. I instinctively took a step back, and just then, the sound of a glass shattering pierced the air. Ryan turned his head sharply, his expression shifting to panic as he rushed toward the source of the noise. Victoria's leg had been cut by a piece of broken glass. Her pale skin contrasted starkly against the deep red of her blood, making for a striking sight. Ryan's brows furrowed deeply in concern. Without hesitation, he scooped her up into his arms. Yet, as he held her, Victoria shot me a sidelong glance, her delicate fingers curling around Ryan's neck as she spoke in a pitiful tone. "Ryan, everyone's watching. You should put me down. Otherwise, people might misunderstand our relationship." "Lily looks a little upset. Shouldn't you go check on her?" Her voice was perfectly modulated, loud enough to reach my ears, soft enough to sound innocent. She was baiting Ryan, trying to get him to declare his relationship with her in front of everyone. But, to my surprise, Ryan's expression remained impassive. He cast me a fleeting glance before turning back to Victoria. Ignore her. Let's get you to the hospital. And with that, he carried Victoria out of the private room. Chapter 7. As soon as Ryan and Victoria left, my brother eagerly leaned in, eyes full of gossip. Ryan can drink 1,000 cups without getting drunk. Spill it. What's really going on between you two? Knowing how much of a blabbermouth he was, I decided to keep the truth from him. I shook my head. Nothing's going on. Victoria probably caught him off guard, and he just didn't know how to react. My brother still wanted to press for details, but I waved him off, brushing the topic aside. I shouldn't have come to this gathering in the first place. As soon as dinner was over, I made up an excuse and left. I walked alone through the streets, passing by couples, small groups of friends, and families gathered together. Laughter filled the air as they set off fireworks, their faces glowing with happiness. Suddenly, this new year felt utterly meaningless to me. I quickened my pace, eager to get home, wash up, and sleep. But just as I neared my apartment building, Ryan appeared. I sped up, trying to slip past him and into the doorway, but he was faster. He blocked my path. I tried to sidestep him, but he grabbed my wrist and pulled me into his arms. If this had been my past life, I might have clung to the warmth of his embrace. I might have buried myself in his chest and cried my heart out. But this time, I coldly pushed him away. Little brother, this is my apartment building. What if my parents see us and get the wrong idea? He froze, his outstretched hand hesitating before finally pulling back. Sometimes, I really didn't understand him. If he found me so beneath him, why had he ever been with me in the first place? His voice turned sharp. What was up with you tonight? Why did you go along with their teasing? I shrugged indifferently. Wasn't I right? Victoria never stopped thinking about you. And back then, you almost gave your life to save her. I think you two make a good match. Getting back together would be the logical thing to do. I was simply stating facts. But Ryan heard something completely different. For the first time tonight, he actually smiled. And what about you? Did you forget your place? Who was it that once said, if I ever got too close to another girl, a certain someone would? Ryan. I met his gaze head-on, enunciating every word clearly. We already broke up. A split second later, Ryan finally panicked. Who said we broke up? I don't allow it. Don't allow what? Before I could respond, my brother's loud voice rang out from behind me. I turned back with a smile and explained. Little brother is buying a ring for Victoria. He came to ask what styles girls like. He said if I don't take the question seriously, he won't let me go home. Ryan's expression darkened instantly. He grabbed my wrist, about to say something, but my brother interrupted him. If you're giving it to her, shouldn't you ask her directly? Why ask Lily? Then, as if just realizing something, he smirked and added, or, are you actually planning to give the ring to Lily? At those words, a hint of red crept onto Ryan's face. Chapter 8. I pried Ryan's fingers off my arm, one by one. Since you've decided to get back together with Victoria, you should go to her. She's injured and needs someone to take care of her. Lily, do you even hear yourself? Who said I was getting back together with her? Ryan's voice rose in frustration, drawing the attention of passers-by. My brother frowned. Damn, Ryan, what's your problem? Whether you get back with Victoria or not is your business. Why are you yelling at Lily? Ryan looked like he wanted to argue, but I nudged my brother. It's freezing. Let's go inside. The moment I stepped inside, before I even had time to take off my shoes, my phone started ringing. Ryan. I hung up immediately, but he was relentless, calling again and again. Finally, he sent me a message. What time are you going to sleep? I'll come over later. I have a lot to say. Can we talk? I didn't want to keep getting tangled up with him. I turned off my phone. Just as I turned off the lights and settled into bed, there was a knock on my bedroom door. Lily, someone's here to see you. Come out. I pulled the blanket over my head. I'm asleep. Whatever it is, deal with it tomorrow. It's Victoria. My eyes snapped open, my brows furrowed. Why was she here? Victoria stood outside the door, carrying several beautifully wrapped gift bags, her face glowing with a smile. I brought back some skincare products from abroad. I meant to give them to you earlier, but I forgot. The moment my bedroom door shut, her smile vanished. I didn't bother putting on a friendly face either. You didn't come just to give me gifts, did you? I asked directly. Victoria dropped the act entirely. She strolled over and sat down in my chair, crossing her legs with an air of entitlement, like she was the rightful owner of this home. Lily, let's not beat around the bush. I know that while I was abroad these past few years, Ryan got close to you. But now that I'm back, I'll be the one marrying him and having his children. I hope you can keep your distance from him. A question mark slowly formed in my mind. Are you misunderstanding something? Ryan and I are just like siblings. Are you done? If so, please leave. I'm going to sleep. I wasn't even that familiar with her, and yet she was here accusing me out of nowhere. It was beyond irritating. But the next second, Victoria's expression twisted into something feral. If it weren't for you, Ryan and I would have gotten back together tonight. Stop pretending. Ryan likes you, can't you see it? Chapter 9. If this were my past life, I would have told Victoria without hesitation, Ryan loves me. But in this life, I finally saw things clearly. Ryan's heart still belonged to Victoria. I'll say it one more time, Ryan and I are just like siblings. Now, and forever. That will never change. If you like him, then go after him, but don't waste your time on an outsider like me. Victoria was completely stunned. For a long moment, she couldn't say a single word. In the end, she left the gift bags behind and walked away without another word. But instead of feeling triumphant, I only felt more exhausted. In my past life, shortly after Ryan and I announced our engagement, Victoria had come to see me in private. I thought she was going to stir up trouble, but to my surprise, she was eerily calm. She pulled out her phone and scrolled through her chat history with Ryan, flipping through the messages page by page for me to see. From the moment they became friends, the polite exchanges at the start, the gradual understanding, the growing familiarity, their first date, their first confession, their first time as an official couple, even after their breakup, even during the years Victoria was abroad, they had never truly severed contact. Their conversations always seemed friendly on the surface, but in reality, they were laced with a lingering, unspoken intimacy. I still remember how she watched the light in my eyes dim as she scrolled through the messages. And then, with a smirk, she delivered the final blow. See that? Ryan has only ever truly loved me. So what if you marry him? His heart will never belong to you. The only reason he's marrying you is out of obligation, not love. I refused to believe her. I thought a cold chat history could never compare to the time Ryan and I had spent together. But I had no idea. Victoria's words were a prophecy, and she was right. I barely slept that night. By dawn, I was still wide awake. Then, I heard my brother knocking on my door. Lily, didn't you say you wanted to meet someone? I have a friend who just came back from abroad today. He's a doctor. Same field as you. Want to meet him? Instantly, I perked up. Yes. Chapter 10. Out with the old, in with the new. The best way to keep myself distracted was to meet new people. Seeing me get up and actively prepare for the day. My mom sighed. You've really grown up. I chuckled self-deprecatingly. I have Ryan to thank for that. My brother's friend was refreshingly straightforward. Within minutes, he had finalized a time for us to meet and even took the initiative to ask for my contact information. Having my brother send me his WeChat. When I added him, I noticed that his profile picture was a black cat. A strange sense of familiarity washed over me because my profile picture was a British short-hair cat. He messaged me first, suggesting we meet at a Hunan restaurant near my home. How did you know I love spicy food? I asked, pleasantly surprised when I saw the name of my favorite spot. I asked your brother. I appreciated people who did their homework. A faint sense of goodwill toward him grew in my heart. On my way to the restaurant, My phone started ringing. Ryan. I sighed, irritated, and hung up. When I refused to answer, he switched to messaging. Lily, where are you right now? I'm coming to find you. Let's talk properly. Lily, at least reply to me. I don't want us to become so distant. I set my phone to do not disturb. As I stepped into the restaurant, a server guided me toward the table Bruno had reserved in advance. From a distance, I spotted a well-mannered man wearing glasses, seated by the window. That must be my brother's friend. The moment I arrived, Bruno greeted me warmly and, to my surprise, handed me a small gift. Inside the small box was a beautifully carved wooden music box. I gently wound the key, and a pleasant melody filled the air. Soft birdsong intertwined with the tune, accompanied by the gentle murmur of flowing water. The sound was soothing, peaceful. Bruno watched my delighted expression and suddenly said, I made it. I looked up, stunned. Wait, you're a doctor. You can make things like this too? Bruno looked a little shy, but there was a hint of pride in his eyes. His subtle expressions made him look like an excited child. My grandfather was a carpenter. I learned from him when I was little. I gave him a thumbs up, genuinely impressed by his many talents. An unexpected interruption. As we continued talking, I found myself feeling comfortable around him. By the time we were almost done eating, I was already half joking with him. This is such a precious gift for a first meeting. I don't even know what to give you in return. I can't draw or sing. Bruno chuckled. That's fine. Just meeting again next time can be my return gift. We laughed. But just then, a familiar voice cut through the moment. That voice shattered my good mood into pieces. I turned around. Ryan stood behind me, disheveled and exhausted. Chapter 11. Lily, do you know how hard I've been looking for you? Ryan had his hands on his knees, panting slightly, looking like he had run all the way here. The moment he saw Bruno sitting across from me, his expression darkened instantly. He strode over, grabbed my wrist, and yanked me up from my seat. No wonder you weren't answering my calls or messages. Lily, you're really something. Haven't even properly broken up with me, and you're already rushing to date someone else? His voice wasn't too loud, but it was loud enough to make a few nearby diners turn their heads. His grip hurt, and I struggled to pull away, but he only tightened his hold. Ryan, stop talking nonsense. Ever since your birthday, when you suggested breaking up, I already agreed to it. I'm single now. Whoever I date is none of your business. Ryan snapped. In a fit of anger, he lunged forward, attempting to kiss me in public. I tried to slap him, but my wrists were firmly pinned down, leaving me helpless. Just then, a strong hand inserted itself between us. Bruno, effortlessly, pushed Ryan away and shielded me behind him. Sir, if you don't back off, I'll call the police and report you for harassment. Ryan's face twisted in rage. Who the hell are you? This is between me and my girlfriend. Get lost. As he spoke, he recklessly grabbed Bruno's collar, attempting to shove him aside. But unfortunately for Ryan, he was shorter than Bruno, and instead of throwing Bruno, he was the one lifted off the ground. Why you? Let go of me. Bruno remained calm. Sir, with this violent behavior of yours, I find it hard to believe you're actually her boyfriend. What if you're a criminal trying to abduct this lady? Everyone, tell me, doesn't that sound possible? Bruno's rational yet gentlemanly demeanor quickly won over the surrounding crowd. Seeing that he was outmatched, Ryan finally stopped struggling. But just as Bruno released him, Ryan suddenly lunged, tackling Bruno to the ground. The two crashed onto the floor, fists flying. Even the restaurant security couldn't separate them. Expressionless, I pulled out my phone and dialed 110 to call the police. Then, I called Victoria. Come get your boyfriend under control. But to my surprise, her voice was cold and detached. Don't ever call me about Ryan again. Ryan and I will never get back together. Before I could respond, Victoria hung up. I frowned at my phone, confused. What was going on? At the station, the police lectured both of them, gave them some warnings, and soon let them go. But the moment we stepped out, Ryan's eyes locked onto me, his emotions barely contained. I let out a weary sigh. Ryan, please stop harassing me. But before I could finish speaking, Ryan blurted out desperately, "That night, I was drunk. It was just a joke. I didn't mean it. Lily, I never planned to get back with Victoria. The one I love is you." A cold laugh escaped me. "You say you love me? Then why did we have to keep our relationship secret for 5 years? Why did I have to be hidden like something shameful?" I stared at him, my voice cutting like a blade. "Ryan, you don't love me. You only love yourself." Then, I turned to leave, but like a loyal dog, Ryan trailed behind me instantly. I stopped and warned him coldly, "If you follow me one more step, I'm calling the police." Bruno stepped forward, blocking Ryan's path. Finally, Ryan had no choice but to stay where he was, watching as we left. What I didn't expect was that Ryan would turn around and announce our relationship to the world before the sun was even up. I was still deep in sleep when, bam, 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 my brother pounded on my door. "Lily, get out here. I have something important to ask you." Dazed and half asleep, I groggily opened the door, only to find Ryan standing beside my brother. Instinctively, I tried to shut the door, but my brother blocked it with his foot. "Lily, Ryan told me everything. Don't you have anything to say?" Still half asleep, I rubbed my temples. "There's nothing to say. Ryan and I are sworn siblings. That's all." But my brother frowned deeply. "Then why did he tell me you two have been dating for 5 years? What's going on?" Hearing that, I laughed. "Oh, so we've been dating for 5 years? All right. Little brother, do you have any proof?" Ryan opened his mouth, but in the end, he had nothing to say. Chapter 12. 5 years of dating, yet he never posted a single thing about me. If he did, it was only group photos, never just the two of us. 5 years of dating, yet every gift we exchanged was something consumable. Nothing tangible, nothing lasting, because he didn't want evidence, didn't want people to find out. I had doubted and felt wronged before, but Ryan always reassured me, saying I was still young, that he didn't want my family to oppose us. But I wasn't young anymore. From 18 to 23, 5 years of my life wasted. And now, standing here, Ryan couldn't even provide a shred of proof. Suddenly, something clicked in Ryan's mind. "Your phone. You have pictures of us together. Show them to your brother." I did, but the ones where it was just the two of us? I had deleted them all. All that remained were group photos. The ones from when we hung out with my brother, standing off to the side. My brother was starting to doubt everything. He looked at Ryan like he was mentally unhinged. "So you're telling me you two dated for 5 years? Fine. But how is it possible that not a single person knows? And how the hell do you not have a single piece of proof? Ryan, are you sure you were even in a relationship with my sister? What kind of pathetic excuse for a man are you?" Ryan tried to cling on, but my brother's patience had run out. "Lily, tell him we were together for 5 years. Lily, have you forgotten all the things I said to you? Have you forgotten how much you loved me?" Hearing those words, a wave of disgust rose in my stomach. I turned to my brother. "He's clearly still drunk. Take him out of here." That night, I blocked Ryan completely. Every number, every account. I had said everything that needed to be said. Anything more would be harassment. But Ryan didn't give up. He came to my house multiple times, making a scene, to the point where my parents had to chase him away with a broom. Even they were perplexed. Such a fine young man, why does he seem mentally unstable? Could it be that he had a fight with Victoria and now wants to use Lily as a backup? Under my brother's relentless interrogation, I finally told him everything. 5 years of secrecy. 5 years of being treated like an afterthought. He listened in silence. Then, instead of scolding me, he gently ruffled my hair and sighed. "You idiot. Why didn't you tell me anything?" If I had known Ryan was such a piece of garbage, I would have cut him off years ago. His voice softened. "Lily, remember this. Any man who makes you feel like you have to hide, any man who makes you suffer in a relationship, cut them off without hesitation. Understand?" I nodded. Chapter 13. After my vacation ended, I returned to work at the hospital. As soon as I walked into the nurse's station, I overheard my colleagues chatting excitedly. Did you hear? A new doctor just joined the surgical department. He's tall, handsome, and graduated from a prestigious medical university abroad. Hearing the doctor's name, my heart skipped a beat. But then, I dismissed the thought. It couldn't be. The world was too big for such a coincidence. Yet, the next morning, the hospital hung the ban. That's when I realized. The new doctor was really Bruno. As applause filled the room, Bruno's eyes met mine. He smiled, a long smile, long enough that everyone followed his gaze, and landed on me. My colleague nudged me playfully. Wait, do you two know each other? I quickly lied. Nope, first time seeing him today. But the moment I said that, Bruno walked straight toward me. Lily, what a coincidence. He extended his hand. The room fell silent. 1 month later, the entire hospital knew. Bruno was pursuing me. He waited for me to finish work. He brought me midnight snacks when I was on night shifts. Because of him, I even gained 2 pounds. The air between us grew undeniably ambiguous. Only a thin layer of paper remained between us. But I never expected that I would run into Ryan at the hospital again. It had been over 2 months since I last saw him. And now, he was here, accompanying another woman to see a doctor. When I saw her face, I froze. She looked a lot like me. Ryan noticed me. For a second, he stiffened. Then, he started walking toward me. I immediately turned and squeezed through the crowd toward the elevator. I wanted to get away from him. But in my hurry, I accidentally collided into someone's chest. Bruno. He didn't push me away. Instead, he held me tighter. The posture was intimate. The people around us turned to stare. I glanced back. The elevator doors were closing. Through the shrinking gap, I caught one last glimpse of Ryan's face. Utterly desolate. But my heart remained calm. No waves, no emotions, nothing. Farewell, Ryan. From this moment on, you no longer exist in my world.